Канаді триває політичний процес пошуку нового лідера ліберальної партії, на посаду якого свою кандидатуру висунула колишня заступниця прем'єр-міністра Канади Chrystia Freeland. На зустрічі з громадою в Торонто цього тижня голова Світового конгресу українців Павло Грот та голова Конгресу українців Канади Олександр Хечій висловили свою думку, що ця кандидатура Chrystii Freeland є надзвичайним викликом зрілості для українців і для української спільноти Канади. Бо в результаті вмілого громадського зусилля українка Chrystia Freeland може стати першим українським прем'єр-міністром Канади. Ведучим зустрічі був депутат канадського парламенту Іван Бейкер.
It's really fitting that we're all together here this evening, I think, members of the community with our friends, leaders in the community, because we've come together around a range of important issues over the years that touch Canada, that touch our community, that touch Ukraine. And we've come together for many meaningful and important moments. And tonight is one of those meaningful and important moments, where a member of our community is running to be the leader of the Liberal Party and Prime Minister of Canada. And I think I can speak for all of us when I say we're all very, very proud to be here to support her today.
Добрий вечір. Дякую всім, що ви прийшли так чисельно сьогодні вечір підтримати Chrystiu. You are here because you, like all of us here today, believe that she is the best candidate and deserving of our support. And I say that wearing two hats, as a Canadian and as a Ukrainian Canadian. As those who spoke before me have said, Chrystia has influenced policy towards Ukraine, not only in cabinet, but in the G7, the G20, and in every other forum where Canada has a voice. Chrystia was also prescient in negotiating the comprehensive economic trade agreement with the EU. This is now more important than we knew at the time as Canada seeks to diversify its trading partners. Our bellicose neighbor to the south singled Chrystia out for special attention. And that's because she successfully negotiated against him and got the better of him. The women in this room will understand that when Trump calls Chrystia a nasty woman, that's a compliment. So I now turn the podium over to a great Canadian, a fearless Ukrainian Canadian, and the next leader of the Liberal Party of Canada and our next Prime Minister, Chrystia Freeland.
Okay, well, дуже дякую, Лесю. Сердечно дякую. One of the things that we've been trying to do on this campaign is recognize that how the government works and how the Liberal Party works needs to change. And we've been trying to run a much more collaborative process with all of the MPs who are involved in the campaign being truly involved in the campaign. That we built Canada, we're still building Canada. And that we've recognized the value of being Canadian and Ukrainian. And to me, that is so powerful about our community and about our country. We've talked a little bit about supporting Ukraine. And it is so important. I know, so many people here, we've spent our lives thinking about Ukraine, learning about Ukraine. I don't think anyone anticipated that Ukraine would find itself so much in the international spotlight and so much truly the world's battleground between democracy and dictatorship. It is an unhappy privilege for Ukraine to have, but the world is so lucky що це українці там стоять, right? If you wanted to have a country where the battle was being fought between democracy and dictatorship, if you wanted to have a people who were going to stand up for the rules-based international order, it's not good luck for the Ukrainians, but it sure is good luck for the rest of us that it is the Ukrainians who are standing there fighting that fight. You know, especially nowadays, with so many challenges in the world, it can be easy to give in to despair. And it can also be easy to think, oh, we're just Canadian. Like, what kind of difference do we make? Can we really change things? And we can make a real difference. And I have to say, one of the things that I am proudest of personally, that happened only because of our collective work, is $50 billion of money that Putin thought he had. We transferred to Ukraine in the fall.
Chrystia has always demonstrated that she's not afraid to make the tough choices. And we want to thank you for that. Because, quite frankly, Chrystia is a very unique person in a lot of different ways. But also she's one of us. She cares. Nasha Chrystia. And I think that's the way we need to look at this as a community. You know, people ask again, why did you get behind this? Because, quite frankly, this can't be about partisanship. This is about somebody who is important to us. We have a historical opportunity. We have a historical opportunity as a community to elect the first Ukrainian Canadian Prime Minister. And it's not just about that. It's not just about Chrystia being the first Ukrainian Canadian Prime Minister. But today, Ukraine needs Chrystia more than ever. As we all know, the future of Ukraine is on edge. And today, with an unstable, potentially unreliable U.S. president, we have today a historical challenge. That if we don't have all of our allies working full on in support of Ukraine, then Ukraine is seriously in trouble. And we can't take Canada for granted. We often do. We often talk about Canada being Ukraine's best friend in the world, but I don't think we can take that for granted. In speaking with and knowing some of the other politicians, whether they're liberal or conservative or NDP, they don't have anywhere close to the commitment to Ukraine's future as Chrystia does. And that is really important for us. There are many other interest groups in this country, and I'll say things that Chrystia can't. There are many other interest groups in this country that are trying to undermine Canada's support for Ukraine, and we can't let that happen. And the way we're not going to let that happen is we're going to make sure Chrystia gets elected as leader of the Liberal Party and elected as Prime Minister of Canada.
Зараз при владі є ліберальна партія. І зараз головне, я думаю, запам'ятати, що цей процес в ліберальній партії вибирає не тільки лідера ліберальної партії, але лідера Канади, котра і та особа буде тоді провадити нас з Дональд Трамп, буде провадити нас супроти Путіна і щодо інших проблем. Chrystia має, вона ділиться тими самими цінностями, що ми всі ділимося. Вона виросла в громаді, нас розуміє, вона знає важливість України. І це не повинна бути справа чи лібералів, чи консерватів. Це все одно. Моя просьба всім, особливо як вони підписалися до ліберальної партії, якщо вони можуть голосувати, голосуйте за Chrystю. Розумієте? Навіть якщо ви, може, в минулому були консервативними, чи вони голосували за консерватів. Слухайте, мій батько балотувався як консерват, я тепер ліберальний депутат. Головне не є, чи ви червоні, чи сині, чи помаранчеві. Головне є, які ваші цінності і що ви зробите на користь Канади.
I'm Chrystia Freeland. I am a proud Ukrainian Canadian, born and raised in the Ukrainian Canadian community in Alberta, and now an MP in Toronto, where I have raised my 3 kids in the Ukrainian Canadian community here. I am running to be the next leader of the Liberal Party and the next Prime Minister of Canada. Because now is a time when we need someone who is willing to stand up and fight. Stand up and fight for Canada against the illegal and unjustified tariffs Trump has imposed for us. Stand up and fight for Ukraine, which is on the front lines of the fight for democracy. Stand up and fight Putin. Stand up and fight for a good life for middle-class Canadians here in Canada. I know how to do that. I am willing to stand up for Canada. So join me. Join the fight.